BMW released the new Mini in 2001. It caused quite some controversy amongst old Mini fans, as it was significantly bigger than its predecessor. Despite this, the new Mini became a popular seller and a must-have gift for any spoilt 17-year-old girl, until the Fiat 500 came along in 2007. However, BMW clearly wanted more for their money, and all those spoilt teenagers were now spoilt parents, with not quite the budget for a Range Rover. So in 2010, Mini released this, the Countryman, a small-ish SUV for trendy mums to look cool in outside of the school gates. Since then, however, SUVs have become cars that a lot more people want, whether they have fashionable kids or not, and they tend to outsell anywhere in the world their smaller competitors, even though they may have the same number of seats and they are roughly the same size on the inside. Many people just enjoy being higher up. And this one, the Mini Countryman, is Mini's choice of car for all their rally exploits around the world. This particular model that I'm in today is a 2014 Mini Countryman Coupe S with the 6-speed automatic gearbox. And I am going to show you around this particular Mini Countryman. So let's go and take a look. Let's start at the back of the Mini Countryman Coupe S, and as you can see, it looks quite bulky and chunky, and this one being the S model, we are especially special as we have 2 exhaust pipes, so everyone behind you knows that you are better than them. The trunk of the Mini Countryman is plenty big enough for all of your school bags or outdoor equipment, and with the seats down you can easily fit in 2 bikes or many dogs. This version of the Mini Countryman has the 1.6 litre turbocharged engine with 180 horsepower. This can get it to 0 to 60 in around 7.3 seconds, and that's plenty fast enough for a car this size. Now in the back seat of the Mini Countryman, and as you can see, there's plenty of space for all the creatures that you choose to carry. It also comes with 2 cup holders, which is very rare for the back seat of any car, and a pointless, these days, cigarette lighter, which no one will ever use. You could have got this car with the optional middle console, which would be completely pointless as there's nowhere to rest your arm and all it had was cup holders. So most were sold with this 3-seat layout, which is considerably better, especially as you can separate all 3 seats and knock them down in whatever way you want to. And now in the front seat of the Mini Countryman, and the Mini interior tend to be a lot more interesting and curvy than other competitors. Unfortunately, whoever bought this Mini new clearly had no imagination, as they didn't option any of the infotainment screen or any of the good options. They only ordered the heated seats, and we ended up with this pointless big speedometer which no one's ever going to use, as you've got a digital one right behind the steering wheel. Something I don't like about this interior is the pointless fuel gauge, which is like a pizza slice slowly working its way down, which you can never really work out exactly how much fuel you've got left. In the early Minis, they had a conventional fuel gauge, which was much more useful than this one. This car is also fitted with a 6-speed automatic transmission, but you could have got it with a 6-speed manual transmission, and that is still offered on the brand new Mini Countryman today, making it one of the few cars you can still buy with a conventional manual gearbox. So you can still get it with a manual gearbox for those who want to be super engaged on the school run or on their weekend adventure. Alright, now let's go for a drive. Okay, so what is this Mini like to drive? Well, being the Coupe S, the suspension is pretty firm and you do feel a lot of the bumps. But on the flip side of that, it does go around corners pretty well. It doesn't roll too much despite its size, and it is fairly nippy and speedy around town. The engine is plenty powerful for this car. In the UK, most of these sold are diesels, which aren't as quick but are considerably better on fuel. As I said before, this one doesn't get very good fuel economy. In US size, it's probably 28 to 30 mpg. We normally get around 280, 300 miles out of a tank with some highway driving in that fill up. Around town, sometimes it doesn't get up to 250. And as I said before, the fuel gauge is very annoying. The early Minis, the ones in 2001, 2002, had a normal fuel gauge, that's something I would much prefer. But actually driving along is fairly good. You don't need to look at the massive speedometer, as there is a digital one right in front of you with the rev counter. Now if you do put the car in sport mode, the revs sit a lot higher up. You sit always driving in the power band, and the whole car firms up. You get heavier steering, you can definitely feel that, and the throttle response is a lot greater. But driving it in sport mode means you do sacrifice fuel economy, and fuel economy is already a bit bad, so it's best to not sacrifice that. And top speed is about 129 miles an hour, but no one who drives these is ever going to go that fast. As I said earlier on, this car is used as the rally car of choice by Mini, and that's because the smaller Mini is just not big enough, but they do use the smaller Mini for touring car racing, as I guess it's better for that. If you are watching this video because you are looking to buy a Mini Countryman, I would definitely be aware of reliability problems. We have already spent, well, the warranty we got with the car has spent about $15,000 repairing this one because of many issues that the garage found, and we've only had the car about a year and a half, coming up on 2 years now. And what's crazy is that this car is only 6 years old. It shouldn't have so many problems. I did make a previous video about all the problems, which I'll put the link in the description. So if you do buy this car, make sure you get a warranty with it, even if it's a second-hand warranty. If you're buying it from Carmax in the US, make sure you get a warranty with it, because they did pay out, and they do pay out, and it's very good. Otherwise it would have cost us $15,000 to fix all the problems this car has had. If you do go for the Coupe and not the Coupe S, I do think the problems would be less severe than this one, and you can probably put regular fuel in it as well, as this one we have to put at least 89 octane in it to make it happier. But all in all, this car is a pretty fun car to drive. Being the Coupe S with the 180 horsepower, it is very fast for what it is, and you can whip about really quick, and you can end up breaking the speed limit pretty easily just by cruising along. I haven't driven the one with the 6-speed manual gearbox, but I would predict that one would be better. That one would be more of a fun car. As we all know, manual gearboxes are more fun, and even in this one, when you do use the paddles, it isn't a fully engaging experience. Having it in the sport mode does make it a lot better, but the paddles are these weird BMW paddles, which one way, each paddle can do up or down, and they're still a bit slow to respond, even with everything turned on. So a manual would be quite good in this car, but as it's an SUV and people who buy these may not care too much about that, the auto works just fine. But I even think the one with the normal engine would be sufficient as well. Okay, so that's the look round of this 2014 Mini Countryman Coupe S. I hope you liked it. I hope it was somewhat helpful, and it gave me something to do to fill my endless days. Well, have a nice day. See you later.